If you're considering doing a Roth conversion this year and you're not yet 59 and a half, you may be wondering, can you do that conversion? In this video, I'll talk about what pitfalls you want to watch out for. Welcome back. This is episode 222. This week, I'm addressing a listener question that I received as to whether you can do a Roth conversion before age 59 and a half. And as you know, age 59 and a half is the magic number at which you can take distributions from retirement accounts without a penalty. But before I get into that, just a reminder that if you're looking to get a better plan in place for retirement or just get a plan in place in general, consider attending my either online or in-person retirement readiness workshop. If you live local to where I am in Connecticut, you can attend my in-person classes that are still available, and you can learn more by going to retirewithryan.com and clicking on classes. Or if you're someone who's not local to me or you prefer to take a class at your own pace, consider signing up for my on-demand retirement readiness review course, also by going to retirewithryan.com and clicking on courses. So back to my listener question for this week. And as a reminder, if you have a listener question that you want to have considered for a future episode, you can ask your listener question by going to retirewithryan.com and clicking on Ask a Question, and I'll consider it for a future episode. So Jose writes in that he's been listening to my podcast for a while, and thank you for listening, Jose, and that he heard me talk about Roth conversions in last week's episode. He's currently 55 years old and is wondering if he could convert part of his IRA to a Roth IRA, even though he's not yet 59 and a half years old. And he's wondering if the amount that he converts will be subject to a 10% penalty. So thanks again for that question. And so first of all, let's just talk about what a Roth IRA is and give you some of the basics for those people that maybe don't fully understand what a Roth conversion is. So a Roth IRA is used to save for retirement if you want to have tax-free income in retirement. And wouldn't we all? But the challenge to a Roth IRA is that you don't receive a deduction on any contributions that you make, meaning that you're putting money into this Roth account after you've already been taxed on it. Now, most other retirement accounts, 401ks, 403bs, 457 plans, are usually being funded with pre-tax money. So that means that that's reducing your taxable income in the year that you make the contribution, which is saving you both federal and state taxes. Well, a Roth IRA is with after-tax money, so you're already paying both federal and state tax on that. So because the fact that a lot of people have pre-tax monies and some have significant balances, you have the ability to convert that over to a Roth IRA. And as far as the way that you convert the money, or I should say the amount that you convert and when you can do it, it really depends upon what you're looking for. So first thing about understanding a Roth conversion and getting back to Jose's question, can you do a Roth conversion before age 59 and a half? And the short answer is yes, you can do a Roth conversion before age 59 and a half and not pay the 10% penalty. The 10% penalty is waived if you do a Roth conversion before age 59 and a half. However, you have to be aware of some of the rules that come with doing a Roth conversion at any point. So one of those is called the 5-year rule. So that rule says that if you do a Roth conversion, that within 5 years you decide to withdraw those funds, they are subject to a 10% penalty. So Jose, if you're doing a Roth conversion and you need access to those funds within 5 years, you need to realize that if you want to access that money, you're going to have to pay a 10% penalty. The other thing is that if you do a Roth conversion and you try to take the money out that you've converted before age 59 and a half, that's also subject to a 10% penalty. So you also need to be aware of that. So with any Roth conversion, you definitely need to be willing to leave that money alone for 5 years or until you turn 59 and a half so that you don't trip that 10% penalty and have to pay that. And I would say as a general rule, if you're doing a Roth conversion, you want to leave that money alone for a long time so that it benefits from the tax-free growth. Any money that's inside of a Roth IRA, any gains, any interest or dividends that you receive is not going to be taxable while it's in the Roth IRA. And then if you wait until you're 59 and a half and have had the account open for 5 years, you're also not going to be subject to any taxes. So to really benefit from paying the upfront taxes on a Roth conversion, you need to leave the money invested for a considerable period of time, probably at least 10 years or more, to make it worth your while. So You may be wondering, how do I do a Roth conversion? How does that work? Well, let's talk about two ways in which you could do a Roth conversion. And the first way is that, let's say you're looking to convert some money that you have in a retirement plan. Maybe you have money in an old 401k plan, or even your current 401k plan, and you want to convert some of that money to a Roth IRA. Let's just say that that 401k plan does not offer a Roth 401k option. So in that case, to convert it, you would need to get the money first out of that plan. So the first thing you'd want to do is, anytime you're doing a Roth conversion, you need to have both a IRA and a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA at the same company. So I've mentioned that my company, Morrissey Wealth Management, holds our clients' assets at Charles Schwab. So let's say you were going to use Charles Schwab. You'd open up a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA at Charles Schwab. So that would be step one. Step two is that you reach out to your prior retirement plan provider, or current provider. Let's say it's a 401k plan, and maybe you have it with Fidelity, and you reach out to them and you let them know that you're looking to do a rollover, because you have to first roll that money out of the current retirement plan over to the IRA at the company that you're going to keep the money with. So you have the check made payable to Charles Schwab. They either send it directly to Schwab or they send it to you, and then you get it over to Schwab, and that money gets deposited into your traditional IRA. Next step would be that you complete paperwork with that custodian, so Charles Schwab's paperwork, requesting the Roth conversion. So you fill out the paperwork, you request the amount that you're converting, as well as let them know the tax withholding on the conversion. Now, you have the choice when you're doing a Roth conversion to have the taxes paid as part of the conversion, or you could choose to pay the tax separately. I'm always in favor of paying the tax separately, provided you have the money set aside to do that. How is that benefiting you? Because that means that more of your money that's being converted is actually going over to the Roth IRA. If instead, let's say you reduce the conversion maybe by 20% because you're paying the tax from the conversion, that's not going to be as powerful as if you converted 100% of the account and you paid the tax separately. So you'd submit that paperwork, and then within a couple weeks, usually, that money would be then moved over from the traditional IRA over to the Roth IRA. So essentially, it's been converted, and it's that easy. The last step is one that I see people miss, and that is you have to invest the money. If you just leave the money sitting there, it's really probably not earning a lot of interest, and it's not benefiting as far as being invested to get growth on the money. To get the most out of the Roth conversion, as I said, you want to leave the money invested. You want to let it grow for a considerable period of time. So that means you have to invest the money, whether you're going to invest it in mutual funds, in individual stocks, in exchange traded funds, whatever it is. Make sure that you follow that next step and you invest the money as quickly as you can so that it's benefiting from the growth and the reinvestment of dividends and interest to get the most out of it. So that's how you do it if it's a retirement plan. If you had an existing traditional IRA, you would follow the same steps, except you don't have to do a rollover. So let's just say you had a traditional IRA at Charles Schwab and you didn't have a Roth IRA. You want to open up a Roth IRA. You then want to complete the paperwork to do the rollover. And then once the money was to complete the paperwork to do the conversion. Once the money was converted over to the Roth IRA, then you'd want to invest the money. You don't have to follow that extra step of doing a rollover from an old 401k or an old retirement plan if the money is already over at the new company. If the money's already in an IRA, then you don't need to worry about that next step. So some people are wondering what can be converted. Well, IRAs obviously can be converted. That is a traditional IRA. SEP IRAs can be converted. Simple IRAs can be converted. So all types of IRAs can be converted. What about employer-sponsored retirement plans? Well, I just mentioned 401ks can be converted. 457 plans can be converted. 403b plans can be converted. And even profit-sharing plans can be converted. The tricky part, I would say, with any of that is that generally when you're going to do that type of a conversion, you're going to have to roll that money over to an IRA first. So you're going to need to follow those steps that we talked about as far as opening a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA with the company, their custodian, that you want to have the money be held at where you're going to be doing the conversion. So the last thing to consider is who should do a conversion. So obviously, Jose is thinking about doing a conversion. I don't know enough about him to know, whether or not this conversion makes sense, but here are some reasons why a conversion could make sense. A Roth conversion could make sense to anybody. If you're in a situation where you have very high earnings and you're earning more than the traditional, or I should say the Roth IRA contribution limit, then you might want to do a Roth conversion, because that's one way to get Roth money in your account, right? Get money over to the Roth side. If you expect to pay higher taxes in retirement, if you're in a position where you have significant assets, significant retirement assets, and that combined with a pension or Social Security is going to bump you into a higher tax bracket than you're currently in, then you might want to consider doing a Roth conversion. If you have a long time until you're going to use the money, let's just say you're in your 40s and you have a good amount of money saved up, but you want to get some money over to a Roth, well, then a Roth conversion could make sense for you, because that money could be invested for 20, 30 years before you start using it. So you will really benefit from the tax-free growth that's going to happen in your Roth IRA. Also, if you're in a year where you have low income, maybe, Jose, your income is lower this year than it was in a prior year, or maybe you're in between jobs. This could be a great time to do a Roth conversion, because if your income is lower, even better, because maybe you could convert that Roth IRA at a 12% tax rate or below, and that is significantly less than your normal tax rate of maybe 22% or higher. So that could be a great time to convert. And lastly, if you want to leave a legacy to your heirs. If you have significant retirement account assets, or you don't plan on using all those assets during your lifetime, and you have children or grandchildren that you'd like to leave a legacy to, a great way to do that is a Roth conversion. You'd be able to convert the money, have it sit there a number of years. Maybe it could sit there 10, 15, 20 years or more, be invested and grow. And then when they receive that money, it's going to be tax-free. The only caveat right now, due to recent changes that have gone on with inherited IRAs, is that your beneficiaries, if they're non-spouses, only have a 10-year window to draw out that money. But as long as Congress doesn't change anything with Roth IRAs, as long as they stay tax-free, then you're going to have tax-free income going to your beneficiaries. I don't ever hope that Congress changes the taxes on Roth accounts, but I believe I've mentioned in past episodes that Social Security used to be tax-free, and currently now Social Security is taxable for many people. It is possible at some point Congress could decide to put a small tax on Roth accounts. I hope they don't, but you always have to keep that in the back of your mind. So I hope this episode was helpful on whether or not you could do a Roth conversion before age 55, and giving you some of the basics as far as how to process a Roth conversion and some of the reasons why you might want to consider doing that. Jose, thank you again for your question. And as always, if any of you have a listener question you want to have considered for a future episode, head over to retirewithryan.com and click on Ask a Question. Have a great week, and I look forward to talking with you next Wednesday. Take care.